Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear cadets of class 9, welcome you all to this online Islam and moral education class. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. Dear cadets, I am Muhammad Muradullah, lecturer in Islamic Studies, Barishal Cadet College, Barishal. Dear cadets, you already know about the pandemic situation all over the world because of the COVID-19. Our country, Bangladesh, is not different than that. The affected person increase day by day. So I hope all of you are following the health and hygiene accordingly. Also, I expect that you are all staying home and staying safe and sound. May Allah protect us from this deadly disease. Dear cadets, without no more delay, now I am mentioned today's discussion topic. Our today's discussion topic is second source of Sharia, Sunnah, chapter 2, lesson 11. Learning outcome. Dear cadets, after listening to the lecture, inshallah you will be able to describe the idea of Sunnah and Hadith, narrate the categories of Sunnah and Hadith, describe the preservation and compilation of Hadith, explain the importance and usefulness of Hadith in human life. Dear cadets, first of all, Sunnah. What is Sunnah? The second source of Sharia is the Sunnah. The Sunnah means tradition or practice. The Sunnah another literal meaning is path, way, method, rule, system, etc. In the Islamic parlance, those duties which have been embodied in the Sharia by the Prophet ﷺ, practice or example are called Sunnah. That means those acts which the Holy Prophet himself did or ordered others to do, approved by persons performing them in his presence or under his knowledge. Those acts are called Sunnah. Types of Sunnah. There are two types of Sunnah, such as Sunnat Muakkada, Sunnat Jaida. Sunnat Muakkada. Those duties which Rasulullah himself always performed and insisted on others to perform them are called Sunnat Muakkada. For example, chanting of Ajan and Iqamat, 2 rakats of prayer before the Fajr morning prayer, 4 rakats before and 2 rakats after the Farz of Zohr's prayer, 2 rakats after Farz is after Maghrib and Isha prayers are included in the Sunnat Muakkada. Sunnat Jaida. Sunnat Jaida is additional Sunnat. Technically, those acts which are proved to have been performed by the Holy Prophet ﷺ, but not always. Rather, which we would do at one time, but did not do at other times, are called the Sunnat Jaida. The Holy Prophet ﷺ encouraged the followers to perform them, but he did not insist on their performance, and it is not sinful to drop them either. Sunnat Jaida is also called Sunnat Ghair Muakkada. For example, the 4 rakas of Salat is before the Asr and Isha Salat. Performing of Sunnat Jaida prayers bring mass reward to their performer. Importance of Sunnat as a second source of Sharia. Sunnat is the commentary and exemplary of explanation of Al-Quran. Allah the Most High has described many matters benefit in the majestic Al-Quran, and the Holy Prophet explained and analyzed them in his Sunnah. Allah Almighty says, وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ مَا نُزِّلَ إِلَيْهِمْ. Meaning, and we have revealed the Quran to you to explain to them clearly what we have revealed to them. Surah An-Nahl, verse 44. An example may clarify the matter. For instance, it is been said in Al-Quran, Aqimus Salat, meaning establish Salat. Surah Al-An'am at 72. But there is no complete description available in Al-Quran as to where, how, and when Salat is to be offered. Rakat, rather, it is Rasulullah who has explained it. He has analyzed all the rules and regulations of Salat through his hadith or Sunnah. Thus, Salat has been established by the direction of Al-Quran and the description of Sunnah. Basically, Sunnah and Hadith are complementary to Al-Quran. It has been introduced as the evidence of Islam. Allah says, وَمَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ مَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. You accept that what he Rasulullah gives and abstain from he forbids. So it is proof that Sunnah or Hadith is the evidence and source of Islam. It's place of the next of Al-Quran. What is Hadith? Hadith means saying, message, species, or in the language of Sharia. In the terminology of Sharia, activities, the message, and the silent agreement of the great Prophet is called Hadith. In the same way, the species, activities, and the silent agreement of the Sahabis and the Tabis are called Hadith. Hadith is the second source of Islamic Sharia. Parts of Hadith. Dear cadets, there are two parts consist of Hadith. Number one, Sanad. Number two, Matan. Dear cadets, Sanad means chain. The description of Hadith from individual to individual is called Sanad. And the person who have described the Hadith are called the Rabi. Matan, the main content or the main theme or the main message of Hadith is called Matan. Kinds of Hadith. Dear colleagues, the kinds of hadith is the view of Matan are three. These are Qawli hadith, Fi'li hadith, and Takriri hadith. Qawli hadith. The hadith orally presented by Rasulullah are Qawli hadith. In other words, the hadith coming in word from the mouth of the Holy Prophet are called Qawli hadith or saying. Fi'li hadith. The activities of the great Prophet as a Rasul are called Fi'li or activities-based hadith. Another sense, to deeds or acts or action of our Prophet is called Fi'li hadith. The hadith which described or presents and action or deed of the Holy Prophet is also called Fi'li hadith. Takriri hadith. Takrir means that what indicates silent conscience. Those saying and acts of others which received the approval of Hazrat Muhammad are the Takrir hadith. In other words, the companions of Rasulullah said something or did a certain thing in his presence, but he did not do it himself and he did not oppose it either. Rather, he gave him his consent or approval, approved in by remaining silent. This type of hadith concerning such situation or description of event is called takriri or consent-based hadith. Kinds of hadith. Number B, classification of hadith in view of sanad. In the view of sanad, hadiths are mainly divided into three categories. Number one, marfu. Number two, mawquf. Number three, maktu. Marfu hadith. Marfu hadith are those whose sources of description reached up to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's called marfu hadith. Mawquf hadith. Mawquf hadith are those whose sources of description could be reached up to Sahabis or followers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's called mawquf hadith. Maktu hadith. Maktu hadiths are those whose sources of description could be traced up to the tabi'in, that is, their speech, activities, and approval of tabis, and is called marfu hadith, maktu hadith. Dear cadets, there are many kinds of hadith. Another important kinds of hadith is hadith Qudsi. Qudsi means sacred. Such type of hadith is directly related by Allah the Most High to His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the Islamic terminology, the hadith in which the word or language is of Rasulullah himself, but its meaning, content, and spirit have been reached directly from Allah by way of ilham or dream is called hadith Qudsi. In a nutshell, the hadith of which the content come from Allah, the Most High, but the Holy Prophet commanded it to his ummah in his own words is called hadith Qudsi. Although the idea, meaning, and spirit of a Hadith Qudsi are from the Allah Most High, it is not included in Al Quran, rather, it enjoys special status as a type of Hadith. Example: Allah Almighty says, As-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bihi. Allah, song is for me and I myself shall offer its return. What is the difference between Sunnah and Hadith? Sunnah and Hadith, the word, action, or approval that the narrate about Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and which are beloved to document Sunnah are sometimes used synonymously, but not always. For example, the groups known as Ahl Hadith is also sometimes called Ahl Sunnah. Books such as Kutub al Hadith are also sometimes called Kutub al Sunnah. In the context of biographical record of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Sunnah of often stand synonymous with Hadith since most of the personality traits of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam are known from description of him, his saying and his action from Hadith. According to the said Sayyid Nasr, the Hadith contain the word of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, while the Sunnah contains his words and actions along with the Islamic practice of which he approved. In the context of Sharia, Malik ibn Anas and the Hanafi scholars are assumed to have differentiated between the two. For example, Malik is said to have rejected some traditions that reached him because, according to him, they were against the established practice of by the people of Medina. In addition to being the way of Islam or the traditional social and legal customs and practice of the Islamic community, Sunnah is often used as a synonym for mustahab rather than wajib force regarding some commendable action, usually the saying of a prayer. So, dear cadets, the Sunnah, the action deed of the Muslim and Hadith, the action deed and silent agreement of Muhammad Sahabi and Tabi. Preservation and compilation of Hadith. Dear cadets, generally the writing of Hadith during the lifetime of Rasulullah was prohibited because if the Hadith was written down at that time, there might have been a risk of mixing the Hadith with the Al-Quran. The people of Arabia had a strong memory, encouraging them to memorize the Hadith. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, The person who will listen to my hadith, preserve it, and disseminate to others in the same way as he had listened to will be fortunate. The Sahabis memorized the hadith and conveyed them to others. During the reign of Khulafa Rashidun and Bani Umayyad, the hadith of Rasulullah was thus memorized and preserved for a long time. But the letters, contracts, charter, etc. of Rasulullah were preserved in the writing from. Moreover, a good number of us Sahabis had written many hadiths of Rasulullah on their personal initiative. In this regard, Sahifa as-Sadiqa of Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As, consisting of 500 hadiths, is especially mentionable. The name of the Umayyad Khalifa Hazrat Umar ibn Abdul Aziz is particularly mentionable in the domain of hadith compilation. It was he who first took initiative to collect and compilation of hadith. Fresh speed was added to the process of collection and compilation of hadith due to his encouragement and patronage. In line with it, Imam Malik was the first to compile authentic hadith. This hadith book of his known as a name Al-Muwatta. The golden era of hadith compilation. The 3rd century was the golden era of hadith compilation. The 6 most authentic hadith books were compiled at this time. They are collectively called Sihah Sitta. The word Sihah means pure or correct, and the word Sitta means 6. 6 books of pure hadith are together called Sihah Sitta. The correct hadith of our dear Prophet Hazrat Muhammad have been compiled in this 6th book. With an authentic description, these books help us learn about the hadith of our Prophet. We will learn briefly about those 6 hadith books. Number 1, the Sahih Bukhari. The compiler of Sahih Bukhari is Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari. Is collected of this book. He is known as Imam Bukhari. The book compiled by him was named after him as Sahih Bukhari. He chose from a vast collection of 6 lakh hadith and then compiled his book. It is divided into the 97th chapter. Sahih Bukhari is the most famous hadith book. It is considered as the most authentic book after the Quran. Sahih Muslim, number 2. Sahih Muslim is the second book of Sahih Sitta. In terms of authentically, it is the second of the Sahih Bukhari. This book was compiled by Abul Hussain Muslim ibn Hassas al-Kushairi. He chose from a collection of 3 lakh hadith and compiled this book. Number 3, Jami Tirmizi. It was collected by Abu Isa Muhammad ibn Isa. All types of hadith has been compiled in this. He said the Prophet is assumed to be present and himself talking in the house of those who have this book. Number 4, Sunnah Abu Dawud. The name of the compiler of this book is Abu Dawud Sulaiman ibn Ash'as. He sequence of the contents of this book is of high standard. This book was compiled after a selection of total 5 lakh hadith. Sunan Nasai. Number 5. It was compiled by the great scholar of hadith Ahmad ibn Shuaib an-Nasai. This has got a high standard layout. This book has a special respect among the Siyasata. Number 6, Sunan ibn Majah. This is the last book of Siyasata. This was compiled by Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Yazid ibn Majah. So we will read all this hadith when we grow up. We will learn about the sayings and deeds of our dear Prophet Muhammad. When then we will lead our life following the teaching of this hadith. Importance and usefulness of hadith. Dear cadets, the importance of hadith in the Islamic Sharia is immense. Hadith is the second source of Sharia. This too is a certain kinds of wahi. The Holy Prophet would give direction to men after receiving directives from Allah the Most High. Allah Almighty says, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ, meaning, and he does not say anything from his own instincts. It is wahi that is revealed to him. Surah Nazm, Ayat 3 and 4. Dear parents, Allah the most merciful has described all the order, restrictions, principles, rules, and regulation of Islamic Sharia is the Quran Majid. In the Quran Majid, the directions, basic rules, and instruction of Sharia have been described very briefly in it. The great Prophet Muhammad used to give necessary explanation to implement this short direction and instructions. This explanation and analysis made by the Prophet Muhammad are hadith. For example, order of established salat or zakat have been given in the Quran Majid, but detailed description as to how many times a day we are required to perform, how many rakas are to be performed at each time, and how to perform is rakat are not given in the Holy Quran. In the same way, the matter of zakat is told in the Holy Quran. Allah Ta'ala says, Akim salata wa atu zakat, establish salat and pay zakat. But in it, no mention has been made as to the quantity of zakat to be given. The description of the rules and regulation given by the great Prophet as per the teacher of Allah are the hadith. This is why the importance of hadith is as great as that of the Quran. Allah says in this regard, Ma atakumur rusul fakhuzuhu wa ma nahakum anhu fantahu. Meaning, accept those that Rasulullah gives you and keeps away from those that he prohibits. Surah Al-Hashr, ayat number 7. The great prophet himself hinting at the necessity and or usefulness of hadith. He said, تركت فيكم أمرين لن تضلوا ما تمسكتم بهما كتاب الله وسنة رسوله. Meaning, I am leaving two things amongst you. As long as you hold these two things tight, you will not lose your way. One is Allah's Kitab or Quran, and the other is Sunnah of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. As each and every ayat of the ayat and direction of the Holy Quran gives light to human beings, leading them towards the right way. In the same way, the hadith of Rasulullah leads the entire mankind towards the path of justice, truth, and peace. As the Quran is ever true, so is hadith. So is hadith. In this connection, it is declared in the Quran Majid, Allah Almighty says, قُلْ أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْكَافِرِينَ. Meaning, you say, do as Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, and His Allah Rasul says, if you do not do so, then know that Allah does not like the Kafirs. Surah Al-Imran, verses 32. The great Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in his speech on the occasion of his last Hajj, that means Bidai Hajj, directed the Muslim Ummah and said, it is the duty to those who are present here to convey my message to others who are not present today. Sahih Bukhari. It is proved in the contents of the above discussion that the importance and usefulness of the Prophet Hazrat Hadith is the life in the life of mankind is unlimited. Dear cadets, with this we have come to the end of today's class. If you want to ask any question on this lesson, leave it in the comment box. Inshallah, I will be happy and remain patient to answer your questions. Home task. Dear cadets, I have given you a home task, that is CQ question. See, this CQ question, read carefully and prepare answer at your home. Next class, dear cadets, now I am declare the next class topic. The next class topic is hadith number 1, 2, 3, that is hadith of intention, hadith of charity, and hadith of concerning foundation of Islam. Lesson number chapter 2, lesson number 12 to 14. That's all for today. Hope we'll meet in the next class. Till then, Allah Hafiz. Stay home, stay safe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.